Danny Greene gets out of jail. He now has nothing to do. He can't, go back to the union. So he has hooked up with this Italian guy, Nardi, that was a friend of his. And Nardi introduces him to this Jewish Shylock played by Christopher Walken. He owns a restaurant. And Nardi vouches for Danny Greene, introduces him to Christopher Walken. Walken tells him, look, this is what I do. I put money out on the street and I need people to collect. There's some good intercuts there with how he collects. If you got to get violent about it, whatever, break a leg, like we used to say, you do that. Danny Greene goes to work for Christopher Walken as a collector. Starts to come up in the world, starts to get noticed a little bit. This guy Nardi, who's an Italian guy, was a high up in the life at that point in time, brings him to meet another mob guy, this guy Lucavelli, who has a union and who is trying to get the garbage guys, the sanitation guys, to join the union. But they're very resistant and they're pretty tough guys. So Lucavelli enlists Danny Greene to get the garbage guys to join his union. And in New York, we didn't have unions for the trash guys, but we had an association. Sally Avellino, who's with Tony Ducks, you might have heard of Sally. He was the one that had the Jaguar bugged. And, Tony Ducks was in that car, and there was a big, part of the mob commission case, the conversations that they had while Sally Avellino was driving Tony Ducks around. But he was the guy that, was the head of the association that most of the trash guys, or many of the trash guys that owned their companies in New York, had to join this association. So in Cleveland, it was a union, and Danny Greene was enlisted by Lucavelli to get the trash guys to join the union. So he's doing that. So he's starting to come up in the world, in that life, and people are getting to recognize him. But he's a very brazen type of guy. He doesn't, bow down to the mob guys. He doesn't think he's subservient to them because, like I said, he's a tough guy. How tough was he? Well, there's a great scene there. When he gets out of jail and he had lost everything, he's got to move his wife and kids to a different neighborhood and a different house. He doesn't have that much money yet. So they go into a neighborhood that's, not the best neighborhood. And there's a scene there where across the street from Danny's house, you see a bunch of motorcycle guys going into this, vacant area. And they're partying and doing all of this stuff. They're getting loud, making noise. So Danny walks over to them and he says, look, as of right now, the noise is going to stop and you guys are going to get out of here. Well, the leader of the biker gang says, no, we're not doing that. And he kind of calls Danny out. Well, Danny leaves, again, quiet. He walks out the door. He comes back with himself and a few of his guys. They got baseball bats. They're ready to fight. Danny Greene is always ready to fight. So Danny says, one-on-one, me and you outside. He takes the biker outside. They go at it in the middle of the street, and Danny just knocks the hell out of him. Beats him up. Danny was